Hi, sixth graders. This is Mr. Michael again. Now we're moving on to step 5. So we're actually going to be building our outlines. You've done your research. You've created your thesis statement. Now it's time to start putting the paper together. It's a fairly simple process, but it does take some tweaking, and you want to have quality sentences used here, because if you do, the better sentences you have in your outline, the easier it is to actually write your paper. So first thing that we're going to do, we're going to bring our thesis statement down. So I'm going to go down to step 4. Okay. Going down to step 4. Remember, X should be Y because of A, B, and C. I'm simply going to copy. I'm going to go down to step 5. I'm going to make my claim. Every time that we type on this outline, we want you to type in this empty space right here. Okay. So I'm just going to keep it in blue ink or whatever color that you guys have, just so you know that this is what you want to include in your actual essay. So I've made my claim. Now my topic sentence, I have to include a transition. So transition words are like first, next, secondly, finally, if it's your last body paragraph. Also, furthermore, we want to use transition words because that creates flow in your paper. So I'm going to put it in red, text red, and because it's my first body paragraph, I'm going to say first, and then I have to put a comma in because it's an introductory phrase. Now I have my topic sentence. I've included my transition. I have to scroll up. This is body paragraph 1, right? So supporting paragraph number 1. I'm going to scroll up to my research. I'm going to copy and paste my reason. Control C. Scroll back down. I'm going to add this on. Control V. And I need to make sure that it's in a form of a complete sentence here. Okay. First, students will forget what they learned during the long summer break. Topic sentences are simply what this paragraph is going to tell us. The point that you're making, right? So this sentence shows that this paragraph is going to talk about how students will forget what they've learned. Now with your evidence, one thing that you need to include what's called an introductory phrase, intro phrase. Now it's not a complete sentence, but it has to lead into your piece of textual evidence, okay, or your fact, however it's called. So if we go to body paragraph number 1, my piece of textual evidence, I want to include the quotation marks in there. I'm going to go copy C. Scroll down to that empty portion, copy C. But I can't just have the quote in there. I have to have an intro phrase. So some good intro phrases are, for example, for instance, what research has shown that. Okay, so we want to lead into the quote. So what I'm going to say, and I'll put it in red as well. For instance, and then I'm going to look at my source because I'm going to need that. It's from care.com. So I'll say, for instance, in an article posted on care.com, it says, and then I have my comma. Okay. Then I go into my quote. This is probably the trickiest part of building a body paragraph. But after my quotations, my sentence isn't done. Now what I want to include is an in-text citation. Okay. All I'm going to do, parentheses, this is very similar to how we cite our sources while we make our, theme paragraphs. All I'm going to say, I'm going to look at my URL. If it's a website that didn't have an author, all I'm going to do is include the care.com. I don't need this other stuff. I don't need the HTTPS and the www. All I need is the care.com. So I'm going to copy and paste that. So let's say I had Facebook and I was citing Facebook, all I would do is facebook.com. So care.com, close it out with a parentheses, and then I put a period. That's super important. That's part of proper punctuation that you are going to be evaluated on. So please be careful with it. All right. So I have my evidence. It has an intro phrase. It has an in-text citation, and it has a piece of textual evidence. Okay. Textual evidence should only be 1 to 2 sentences. Explanation, guess what? I've already done it. So I just have to scroll up. Explanation. This quote proves that students will lose what they learn. Okay. Control C. Explanation. Boom. And then one thing that we want you to do, you already have your concluding sentence. So you have to add this part. It's essentially kind of rephrasing that topic sentence. So I would say, therefore, again, we want to have a transition word. So therefore, in conclusion, therefore, research has shown that students will forget what they learn during the year over summer break. And that is one reason why Chippewa should change to the year-round schooling model. So my concluding sentence just kind of connects to the original thesis, saying, all right, this body paragraph shows that we need to switch to what I'm trying to persuade you. Okay, so I would do the same thing for supporting paragraph 2. For the counterpoint paragraph, I want you to delete the concluding sentence, why you disagree, because you already did that in your explanation. Okay, so you just have to delete that part. Again, we want to include transitions. Essentially, this is going to turn into a body paragraph. All I would have to do is get rid of these headings, but we'll get to that later. All right? If you have any questions, please ask your teacher. Otherwise, good luck. You guys have been doing fantastic. I know it's a lot of work, but you'll be okay. We'll help you through it.